So, as an aspiring artist, there tends to be a lot of unfinished projects and business that tends to happen when you kind of go down this path. I am definitely not the exception. And while streaming, I realized that there was a lot of stuff that I really haven't really shown off to the public, whether it be on any kind of social media, because I don't got a social media, and any other stuff. But yeah, so basically, this is a video of all the scrap garbage that never made it to the light. I think this first one will just start off with like the images, like the 2D stuff I've done. So I do 2D and 3D. And this is just my images folder. Don't mind some of this stuff. Most of this. Yeah, most of this is pretty random. This is a piece I did. Oh god, this is a piece I did digital art. Just a hybrid of a dolphin and a dog. Actually, quite fond of this one. Chemistry. That's when I did. Okay, let's stop skipping around. This is this is a drawing I did with Mark while we're doing Connect 4. We got bored in the middle of stuff, so we decided to mess around with like a group drawing app. I forget what it was, but both of us could draw on a single app, and we had the touchscreen Chromebook, so it's like, man, why not? We gotta kill some time, and this is how it happened. I mean, I didn't do much. I think I drew like glasses or something, and like the banana, and Mark really drew the rest. But yeah, that's that. That was a fun thing to do. So that's where that comes from. This, I guess I could open it. It's just this was a project I had to do in AP Chemistry. Yeah, where this looks really bad considering I rushed it so hard. Where basically we had to make a children's book over the stuff we learned in class. So we chose to do something about gas laws, and that's where PivNerd is. And I did the illustrations, but this was before I had a drawing tablet, so it's basically me scanning onto paper, and I didn't really know how to ink, since the ink always bled around everywhere. So kind of see. Also, I made so many mistakes, like there. And since you scan it, you get this weird like gray area, because like the ink shines clear, or the light shines clear through the middle. But yeah, it turned out okay. I do have the images for all of them, but that's another thing. This is when the copy. Well, this is when I was doing D&D. I DM'd a few sessions, and I made a few maps. This is one of them for one of the bigger ones I did. This is for an English lang project. We had to make a parody or a satire of a company logo. These are just ducks faces for when I was doing a visual novel. We don't really need to get into that. Again, the dress for when I went to get into visual novels. I don't think I could show this, but we shall. Oh, that opened up over there. I guess we could show it. So this was basically what was a female sprite when I wanted to start doing visual novels, so I'd have that, and I'd be able to interchange outfits and stuff if I wanted to, and facial expressions on that one body. There's that. So that's what that's about. This is a Gundam we had to do digital art. This is the final animations here, which I conveniently skipped over. Basically, we did something of a Fire Emblem-esque fight, or just an animation, because we basically in digital art, one of the signs was to do a stop motion. That's what we chose to do. Okay. My voice acting is really bad. I'll let this play through. I'll let this play through, and then I'll give commentary. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. So this was the name logo we had to do. Basically, we had to take the initials of our first and last name and turn it into a logo. I made it a fish. Also, I didn't actually finish erasing everything, so that's where all the dots are. Oh god, there was that. That was me doing the voice acting really badly. I did the drawings for this, and the inking. Yeah, and the inking for the left one. The right one, Jason did. He did the coloring on that. And the inking, maybe? I think there was some mishap because it looks a little wonky. No, I think I did inking for that. He did the coloring, but it looks a little wonky. Again, we filmed this at Jason's place. We had a really jacked setup of I think we basically propped up my Jason's had an iPhone that we just propped up on one of his music stands. And we just aligned the camera to one of the holes on the stands. And we just like put some like tissue boxes to make sure it was up to height. And that's how we filmed. And we just like had to scramble for like random lights around his room. In order to set this up, we did the cutouts, we did the coloring of the trees. These are his Gundams. And in order to make them stand, Lee actually lent us some blue tack or sticky tack, whatever you call it, that allowed us to keep them standing, which is thank you for them. They helped a lot. Also, I did the stuff, I guess what would you call it? The battle boxes or whatever. And the dialogue boxes. I don't exactly have the files, but basically in Fireworks, which is like the program we use, I individually made separate images of each of these for all the stop motion animation stuff, that's exactly what you would do, but Jesus Christ, was it like the text was a pain because I wanted to have it as scrolling text. It was this was a crazy hard, and then we had to put our face in the end. And he'd give us a few extra credit points. And boy, was I oogly. Oh, we even have that. Oh, I forgot his name. He was a senior at the time. I was a junior. And he saw me taking a picture. And I guess he just either he A, saw me take a picture, was taking a picture and just want to stay out of it. Or B, he was just taking a nap because this was the second time taking this class. And he was just bored out of his mind. Cool guy, though. Try to sell me Adderall. Actually, looking back on this, that probably wasn't that senior I was thinking of, and it's probably just Alex, since he's the one who sat directly behind me. I'm pretty sure that senior's to the right of him. I'm pretty sure Alex was just trying to get out of the shot. So yeah, that's that. That's quick clarification. So there's that. That's all that stuff. This is a thing I had to do. This was just part of the video editing thing. I just sent a screenshot to the Discord group to show the horrors you had to put me through. I may just overlay exactly what that was. Don't need to show that. The rest of these are like images. I drew this one when net neutrality was dying. I was like, I'm gonna do my part, make an internet chant, and someone asked for it. Turned out garbage. I don't like it. No one really liked it either, and it was too late. So, yeah. Jason. I'll just leave it at that. This is an image of a random person that I just found online. Knuckle Duster from My Hero Academia Vigilante, the spin-off from the My Hero. He's Knuckle Duster. That's the Hauler. I mean, the Crawler. Male reference. Oh, I really don't want to show the male reference. So, also these ones are PDFs. This is so bad. Alright, so this is like 2016-ish. I was definitely sophomore year. And I was getting into, oh my god, it looks so bad, into 3D modeling and stuff. And I was like, I needed references in order to do. Those hands are so tiny. You guys realize, Jesus, and those legs, and that face, ugh. All of those legs are garbage. Oh my god, look at those feet. Like, what the. Alright. Anyways, I needed mail references because I was doing 3D modeling. Even I realized at the time how bad this looked, and I never really used it. So, yeah, let's say just close that. Right. This Mark gift. This is a gift I did for I gave for Mark on his birthday, and the whole idea about it was I draw Mark and include a bunch of different like references in the background for him to kind of catch on and be amused by. I really didn't finish that bug, did I? I think, let's see. I could open up the actual credit file and give that a second to go. But it turned out okay. I'd say it turned out alright. I don't think it looks that great. Like, the room's like tilted like crazy because I was doing perspective. Okay, now okay, this is I think this is the old file actually. This might be an older file because I didn't finish coloring it. Anyways, well, you saw the finished product, so I'll show you this one. So this blue, okay. Oh god. So this was like the first rough sketch I did before all the coloring and stuff. As you can see, there was a lot of stuff jam packed. You got Undertale over here. Pokemon. Also, this is just the basic layout of his room. That's how I chose it. So we got Undertale, Minecraft, some Wolf Feet. I remember he had D&D stuff, more D&D stuff, Nintendo DS. That didn't make it to the final cut, as you can maybe see. Oh, let's pull up the. Okay, okay. I could have just used this one. Okay, let's just do that. So there's this, as you can see it in Minecraft, Undertale, Pokemon, Splatoon, My Hero Academia because he was watching it. I guess he still is watching it. D&D, Wolf stuff. Pizza Story that Mark told us. I may get into that another time, but basically, actually, it's just John, who is one of Mark's friends and my friends, I guess. One of my friends as well. Mutual friend. I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, there was a beetle around. They asked John to close the box so the beetle won't get in, and he closed the box. But he closed the box when the beetle was inside. And that's the short end of the story, without all the drama. So anyways, next is a Switch. That's Amiibos, because the little Amiibo wall. Trust me, there's a lot more Amiibos, and I wish I could have fitted more, but I had about basically 3 or 4 days to finish this. So that's why there's also many more shells for the actual one, and literally like 10 times the amount of Amiibos. Splatoon 2, because that's relevant. He's on a Mac. Character he drew a while back. And that's a somewhat close interpretation of what he looks like. Yeah, again, not a huge fan of the room color. And I missed out a few things, which I could quickly go over here. Yeah, screw it. Basically, his dad was creeping in. I forgot to add that in. Also, So Much for Pain. The DS, I didn't add that in. And I didn't even add that in. Oops. And the ceiling thing. Basically, we had a friend of ours had a label maker, and decided, hey, it would be kind of funny if we grabbed the label maker and stuck a label on his ceiling. And that annoyed the hell out of him for a long, long time. So there's that. That one was fun. Mark's room. These are just various versions of the same thing. These are just basically 2 layers. This layer is basically what I worked on. As you can tell, I worked on a lot of stuff. And this is what Mark worked on, like the actual important bits. And that's how the drawing program worked. Each person would have a layer or 2. This was for this looks so bad. This was when we were reading The Great Gatsby, and we had, as extra credit, we could draw like a scene from the book, and this is what I drew. basically Nick Carraway getting the letter from Mr. Gatsby to inviting him to his party. And this is basically based on the Tobey Maguire interpretation that we saw the movie from. This is my wallpaper. No More 0 Days, basically. It's like a motivational thing that reminds me that to basically always be working every day. And the idea of a 0 day is a day where basically you do nothing. And what you mean by no more 0 days is basically it's just saying make constant progress and don't be satisfied with doing nothing, because that can be very easy when you're working on something like a big project. For instance, in art, like say I was doing a sketch and I was like, okay, I don't know where to go from here. There's a lot of more steps before I could call this a finished piece. And sometimes you're like, I don't know what I want to do, because you're like, you're stuck in a block because you're like, hey, I got to do all this stuff and I don't know what to do. And so instead of worrying about like the big picture, just worry about, hey, I finished the sketch. Maybe I'll lay down a few lines for the face, and then I'll call it a day. And then next day, I'll lay a few lines for hair, or even smaller than that. I'll just open up the art program, and then that'll be my no more 0 day. That small stuff really builds, and even the small stuff of like opening a program can very easily snowball into working more on the project. Because let's be real, a lot of the times it's just starting the project that's always troublesome. Office Girl, this is a project I finished. I don't have the final file lying around somewhere. That's probably in the Krita folder. Basically, when I first got my drawing tablet, I drew this. Yeah, that's it. That's the line work. Coloring, shading. I think this is the sketch. No, I got rid of the sketch. Sketch, and this is the sketch. So yeah, that's that. Reference for a picture I did for a friend, Asuna. From SAO, Pop Step, that's also Pop Steps from, again, Vigilante spinoff. Again, these are all just references for when I went into... Okay, I just be real, and it sounds bad, but these are basically images I used to trace over, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, because I'm willing to admit that the images that may or may not show up in this video were traced. That's just how it is. Now this was all, as you saw before, from the... This was from, again, the Pivnert story, for AP Chem. I was doing illustrations. I think this one I actually did most... I didn't do this on paper. I did this all on mouse in Photoshop. So there's that. I think this is Pivnert being second place, winning. Oh, this one's an interesting one. This one's a very interesting one. So Reaper Graveyard. Oh, this is the drawing that the illustration, like the line work, was, since I've only recently got a drawing tablet, like for the future reference, it's summer of like 2018. Actually, I could just do this. I should just do that for photos. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't just do that. Anyways, scroll through them. This is a very old drawing I did in 2016 on pencil and paper that I inked myself and colored. I remember I did the drawing itself in sophomore year. Then junior year, when I did digital art and actually started learning how to color digitally, I then rescanned this, put it on Photoshop, or what I think was Fireworks at the time, because that's what we used in digital art, which was weird. I colored it then. And honestly, for such an old piece of art, like 2 years old, this wasn't that bad of a piece. Of course, it's kind of edgy and kind of dumb, and the coloring and like the The coloring and the proportions are really weird in some points. But the actual composition and piece itself is kind of much more interesting than the stuff I've been doing recently. Also, it's very Ruby inspired. So yeah, this was very interesting. I know this was sophomore year because I was inspired to draw this. It's like sophomore year when I had PE with Austin, and he would always be talking about some kind of video game he was playing at the time, and this one was of some character he was describing in Kingdom Hearts. I may post an actual picture of what he was describing, but all I really knew, he was a menacing dude with a pink scythe. I was like, pink scythe's cool. I drew pink scythe, then I drew girl, then I drew tree, and then the rest kind of added after that. So yeah, not a bad piece for something so old, especially since I see some of my older pieces, or some of my newer pieces, I should say. Because this is like the best compositional and like full art pieces that I've done. One of the few. Next, again, this is still pencil and paper. Oh, I even put a date on this. I did that a lot. I basically just crossed that out just because I redid it another day. So what's that? That's May 4th, 2017. Junior year. K-Girl, okay, it doesn't say K-Girl, but I named it K-Girl in a later piece where I tried coloring it. Basically, this, I was watching like some dance cover for a K-pop song. It was like K-pop Generations kind of thing, where it's like K-pop throughout the generations. And one of the dancers stuck out to me, and I decided to draw her. And this is my closest interpretation to what I can for her. Turns out okay. The shading, this is when I started getting to pencil shading. Or I guess would be graphite. I guess would be the best way to say it. Where I started learning how to add values here and there and do shading and stuff. Obviously, it looks way better in person because the scans tend to make things lighter. I can very quickly like up the contrast or something. Clarity? Yeah, clarity, kind of light. Okay, so this is closer to what it would have looked like. Something like that. This was something closer to what it looked like. So yeah. So just to give a general idea. I keep doing that. Oh gosh. Oh, it's hard to pick out, but I know this is a very old one. This was definitely around summer before freshman year started in high school. That did like the actual inking and drawing itself. Or was it? No, it must have been. It's somewhere around freshman year. Because it's when I first started getting inking pens or dip pens. And I think that was sometime freshman year. And this is what I did. I did the inking again later on after digital art. I learned how to color, and I added that stuff in. He's supposed to be firing off some kind of magic thing. I don't know. He's got very Phoenix Wrighty. There's like some metal armor for some reason. It's okay. You know, it's an early work. It's alright. Again, this is 2016-ish era. Basically a few months of practicing drawing is this. This one was basically about a year's worth of drawing. It's like a few months. Oh god, and then there's this one. This is really bad. I think this is around the same era as that one. I could do quick research and figure out when exactly it is, but this is probably the same era. Again, this was when I was thinking of doing a visual novel. I was making characters to try and see if I could just diversify the cast, you know? I really didn't know what I was doing with hair back then. Or anatomy. Shading's okay. Also feet, hands, super tiny. Anyways, this is Sports Girl. As by name, this is a sporty girl. Okay, she's got some rockin' the sick kind of unibrow. But yeah, again, I'm not too hot with this. Hair's way too messy. Face is wonky, especially with that unibrowish thing. Anatomy's super weird. She's like thin like a stick, which I guess is what I was because yeah, I have a very anime-esque art style, so the anime tends to come out with this kind of stuff. I think it's a separate version. Oh, this one's actually an interesting one. I think I skipped a few. I'll get back to that stuff. So this, senior year, I got into a welding class, which was super fun. They basically taught us how to stick weld with 6010, 7018. I messed around with some MIG welding and TIG welding. Not TIG welding, MIG welding, and flux core. That was just overtime thing we did for fancy. But anyways, the teacher was asking us if we had any ideas for a shirt that he'd like to have for his first welding class. And this is the design that I ended up giving to him. I think I have an inverted version somewhere, which is he wanted, and one that added flames on the edges here. But yeah, this is what I came up with. It's okay. It's a little messy, I will admit, on the flames, because again, this is before I had a drawing tablet, so I was scanning paper, and the ink tends to bleed a little. All right. So there's that. I may have the inverted version somewhere. This is just the border. May look like stacking dimes. That's the whole idea behind it. Basic welding tips with Matthew Lung. When you're welding, you're basically melting the metal and adding the filler metal of whatever you're welding with, whether it's a rod, whether it's like a wire from your MIG that's covered in argon gas or whatever. You basically melt that onto it and form a puddle. And then you just basically keep stacking those puddles in this like oscillating motion. And that's basically how you weld. There's different things. For 6010 it's oscillating. 7018 it's drag. But the concept's basically the same. Make a puddle and stack a puddle on top. There's that. And this is just the border, which is that. Oh, this one's the inverted version of that. This one's the inverted. Okay, so that's interesting. This one was for the front pocket. Same thing for welding. It's a skull we drew. That's just an image. Remember, this folder is both images for my drawings and images I've downloaded from the web. That was just I used for a profile pic. Let's see. Let's go over the stuff I skipped because I didn't actually import them as an image. This one's an interesting one. Sci-fi chick. Again, this is the one I didn't ink, so this is pencil. Excuse me. It's a little harder to tell what's going on in it, but there's that. Yeah, this was originally just going to be a reference for a 3D model that I'd eventually do, or just I was playing on. I did this 7/24/2017. Yeah, I think it was when I was off on a cruise. There's that. It's very sci-fi, kind of like Ghost in the Shell-ish kind of vibes. I don't know why I drew butterfly wings. Thought they looked cool, and they barely come out, the butterfly wings. I had somewhat of an idea of what I was doing with this. I don't know. It was okay. The legs are a bit wonky. This is when I had them very bow-legged back then. The body is a bit small from what I usually do now. Arms are decent-ish. Face is a little wonky. The chin's a bit too sharp. And the hair is like weird. Like it doesn't quite cover here, but it covers completely here. Eyes, I still suck at eyes, so I can't really say much. So this is that piece. Sci-fi chick, I guess call it. Cold turkey blocker. Don't worry about that. I accidentally activated it. Skate grill. This is a much more recent piece. This is like, I don't even know. This is like the end of the school year. So this is like June of 2018-ish. I did, again, this is another pencil sketch I did. So again, this is very early when I got the drawing tablet. I decided to do this. Let's see. Here's like the original drawing I did in my sketchbook, which I may show off eventually later. It's not a great sketchbook, but it's got a lot of early stuff. So this is the original sketch, and here's the incomplete coloring job. I kind of dropped it. This one isn't like actually complete. I dropped it a while back, just because I wasn't happy I was just getting sick of trying to figure out what color the pants should be. I know that sounds stupid, but that's just, yeah. A lot of these times you just hit a block and you just can't get over it. Oh god, Sketches 1. Okay, this is the backup file, so or the autosave file, so I'll get to that later, because yeah, I'll get to that later. Skate Grill, I already went over. So yeah, so that's okay. This is the sprite faces. I really don't want to go over faces. So these are the faces that I drew. Normal, happy, angry, sad, questionable. Again, and this is the dress that I never really showed, but this is the dress. It fit over the female sprite that you saw before. This one. Yeah, it fit over that. So yeah, that's basically what's going. Oh, Stratus. What happened? Okay, that's. I think I moved it to the PSD files. Anyways, so that's what's going on basically in the intro folder. This is a lot of just random stuff I've been collecting. This folder originally was just for random images I downloaded from the internet, and so I just put this on here. That's where you have all this stuff, and all that kind of stuff in here. All that stuff comes from that. I'm not going over the housing receipt. That's something for colleges. Don't worry about it. So yeah, so that's all the stuff I have here. Oh, I didn't go over test. Okay, test is just Skate Grill. I remember. Test is just that. I'll quickly show you, but basically I was debating whether to keep using Krita or go to Photoshop. I personally now prefer Krita. Photoshop is more robust and stronger, but Krita I feel has better tools, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. They're both decent art programs. Just that Krita is an actual art program, while Photoshop's a photo editing program. Of course, Photoshop can still do stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, this was just a test. Testing out the brushes and how they worked, because I had this new sound pen. So yeah, guess this will be the first part of the somewhat series of what's in my folders, just of old garbage that I have lying around, of a lot and in varying states of completion. Yeah, like I said, when you're doing art, there's always, people tend to always see like the finished pieces or the highlights, so to speak, and not see many of the failures. And we have yet to get to those really, but you can see a lot of my old stuff and get a fairly wide spectrum of my art at the moment. Because this one, Mark's Gift was done like June-ish of this year, because this was for his birthday. June-ish? Is that his birthday? I don't know. I don't remember his birthday, but it's sometime in summer is his birthday, and this is what I gave him for that. So that's more recent, and then we have this one, which is like all the way down to like 2016, or is that 2014? Because that's freshman year, like 2014, 2015. Jesus. Yeah. To be fair, that was good even for my time. So yeah. Anyways, I'll probably go over the rest of this stuff some other time, or at least in a different video. We'll cut this off here because it's gone long enough. Yeah. So see you in the next one.